Hello and welcome. We are going to cover Chapter 1 Defining Marketing for the New Realities of the book Marketing Management by Kotler and Keller. So, marketing is about identifying and meeting human and social needs. One of the shortest good definition of marketing is meeting needs profitability. So, to be a marketer, one needs to understand what the marketing is, how it works, who does it, and what it marketed. So, as we got to know about the shortest definition, the American Marketing Association offers the formal definition of what marketing is. So, they say that marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, and delivering and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partner, and society at large. So, to implement marketing, we have a system which is called as marketing management. It says that as the art and science of choosing the target markets and getting, keeping, and growing customers through creating, delivering, and communicating superior customer value. We can distinguish between social and a managerial definition of marketing. So, marketing is not about just the business aspect of it or the managerial aspect of it. It's also a social part. A social definition shows that the role of marketing plays in society. For example, one marketer has said that marketing role is to deliver the highest standard of living. Here is a social definition that serves our purpose. Marketing is a societal process by which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want through creating, offering, and freely exchanging products and services of values with others. Co-creation of values among consumer and with businesses and the importance of value creation and sharing have become important theme in the development of modern marketing. So, marketing, if its social aspect is all about co creating, like one is creating and one is utilizing it, it's a share and care aspect. You can broadly speak that it's a barter system, right? Creating the highest level of living. Managers sometimes think of marketing as the art of selling product, but many people are surprised when they hear that selling is not the most important part of marketing. Selling is only the tip of the marketing iceberg. So, as we got to know about the definition of marketing with a managerial or social aspect, now the question comes into the mind is what is marketed? Many things are marketed. For example, goods are marketed, the common consumer good. For example, toothpaste. The services are marketed. For example, the cab services. The events are marketed. The experiences are marketed. For example, a trip to Disneyland, right? So it's an experience that is marketed. Persons are marketed. For example, a celebrity, Emma Watson has a name. She has some persona, and people relate to her in some sense or other. So that person is marketed. Places are marketed. Places are marketed, for example, Switzerland. So it is marketed with the name of natural beauty, serene, and natural environment altogether. Properties are marketed, for example, a big castle or an island, for example. Organization are marketed, for example, Red Cross organization or the big organization, IT organization called Google or Microsoft or Amazon. Information is marketed and at last, the ideas are marketed, right? So, all these things can be marketed. Now, we have got to know what is marketing and what is, marketed. Now comes to the aspect of like who does that, right? So, a person who does that is called as marketer. So, in short, a marketer is someone who seeks a response, attention, a purchase, a vote, a donation from another party called the prospect. If two parties are seeking to sell something to each other, we call both of them as marketer. So one is creating and one is absorbing the services at the same time seeing from the different angles, we can say that both of these parties are marketed, right? Because they're communicating the values, they're communicating the experiences to each other and absorbing it, right? So, marketers view sellers as the industry and use the term market to describe customer groups. They talk about the need, markets, product market, demographic market, geographic market or voter market, labor market, and donor market. Now, there are, we got to know about, what is marketing, who does that, and what is marketed, right? So, like, marketing is, will never exist when there is no demand, right? There must be demand of something to be marketed, or, you know, demand is the existence of marketing, right? So, in common terms, we all know that demand is something, wherein person desire to get something. But apart from that, there are like eight different classification of demand. Talking about the first one, which is called as negative demand, is like where consumer dislike the product or even pay money to avoid it. For example, if in a in a society where people are playing loud noises, right, in nearby area, then people of that society will be willing to pay more money to just cut down the sound, right? The other kind of demand is non-existent demand, wherein consumer may be unaware or uninterested in the product, right? The third one is latent demand, wherein consumer may share a strong need that cannot be satisfied by an existing product. For example, a toothbrush is there, and like people are using it, but the current design or the feature of that toothbrush is not functioning well. Then consumer will want to have a better design or better product quality of toothbrush, so that their needs can be satisfied in another other model of the toothbrush, right? The fourth one is declining demand, wherein consumer begin to buy the product less frequently or not at all. I mean, like, it's not in trend, right? We can say that. The fifth one is irregular demand, wherein consumer purchases vary on seasonal, monthly, weekly, daily, or even hourly basis. So irregular demand is something which is kind of predictable. It depends upon the season, it depends on the month, week basis, and it also depends upon the mood of the consumer, right? Customer. The sixth one is called as full demand, wherein consumer are adequately buying all the products put into the market. So irrespective of, like what the product are there in the market, consumer are buying it. The seventh one is called overfull demand, wherein more consumer would like to buy the product that then can be satisfied. So it's like a kind of consumerism which is going on in this type of demand. That's why its name is overfull demand. Then the last one is called wholesome demand, wherein consumer may be attracted to the products that have undesirable social consequences. For example, we all know that we should not, use plastic bags, or we should avoid plastics, and we should go for recycling purpose. But there are very very few individual who actually does that, right? So we, although we all know that we should not use plastic, but the food products or the vegetables which we buy, we tend to use a plastic because we don't have any choices, right? So these are all the eight demands. So now we know that what is marketed, what are marketers, who are marketers and respect, and what are the type of demands. Now there comes the question that, like, where does the product is selling? Like, so the product is sold in the market, right? It may not be a physical aspect nowadays, but a standard definition of what market has been is defined as a physical place where buyers and seller gather to buy and sell goods. Economists describe a market as a collection of buyers and seller who transact over a particular product or product class, such as the housing market or the grain market. So the market the term is variable, right? It is something we can say it's a farmer's market, but it can also be a housing market, it can also be an electronic market. So depending upon the product where, which is being what is being sold, it is determined by the product, right? So like it's a place where things are being sold and a lot of buyers and sellers are there, right? So how things work, right? So we got to know about market, right, where most buyers and sellers are there. But we just have to look over like what is being circulated, right? So this is a very simple marketing system wherein there is one side there is an industry, the other side is market where there are collection of buyers, and like you can say that there is a arrow which is pointing and it's like interrelated and interlinked. For example, from the industry, goods and services are being produced and given to the market. They are just bringing presented to the market, and buyers buy it, and in return, they give money to the industry. And with the experience of buying and using it, they also the buyers also give information to the industry, what are their needs and what are their demand, how they feel it, like a reviews of the product or services they give. And in return, the industry communicate with the buyers, that is market, that what they're going to do it, how they're going to solve the present problem, or what their agendas are. So the inside of the channel, we can say that goods or service and money is being transacted, and the outside is communication and information. Okay. Now coming on to the more complex structure of what goes into the market, uh, in the modern exchange of economy, wherein government plays a pivotal role and is a central body which governs the regulation of money and resources, as well as services and taxes. So for example, we can say that government provides service to consumer market, and consumer, they buy the service, they pay the taxes, right? So it's an exchange. And consumer market, so this cycle is interlinked. For example, I was saying that consumer market was giving money to the intermediary market, and intermediary market was giving goods and services. So all these markets are interlinked directly or indirectly, and they all exchange value, and they communicate what is going on in the environment, right? Everything is interdependent, right? So, as we have seen how the modern exchange of economy works and what is simple marketing system, so like some of the key customer market are consumer market. For example, we can see that the big stores like Zara, H&M, home goods, all these market a consumer market wherein people are buying goods, right? Businesses is something, for example, they are buying services. For example, healthcare industry, it is a business market wherein people are buying services. It can be international or to the limited to the nationwide. And also, for example, the IT firms, right? So these are also the business market. Or you can say the trade which happened between countries, it's a like business. Talking about the global market is something wherein goods and services are demanded globally throughout the globe. Many people across the world use it and they have experience of it, right? Non-profit and government organization market are like something that their aim is to leverage the society by the goods and services, and their aim is not to build the profit, and they just want to provide services to the customer for the overall well-being of the society. Coming on to our last slide, we are hoping that this lecture was fulfilling, and we will see you shortly in next lecture. Thank you.